round 2 of the Arte Fact Production Podcast.
Round 2, fight.
Fight, record.
I'm not as amused by it as you guys are.
Trust me, we're not either. I wanted this thing up.
I wanted this done last night.
Yeah.
I wanted this thing in bed. But, you know.
You gotta wake up, bro.
Well, these
You're
are the
an adult
sacrifices.
now. You're an adult. Adults don't have
Sacrifices.
fun.
I'm about to sacrifice myself so that I can be 6 feet under and not have to redo podcasts anymore.
You don't want to talk about Mr. Christopher?
No.
Miles! Don't you want to keep Tim Allen in bed? Okay, we gotta get to this.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
you gotta stop drinking energy drinks, dude.
That's the only way I stay alive.
That's why your energy is all over the place. Because
You're right. That is why it's all over
you're
the place.
chugging these things that are just barely keeping you up.
My nervous system is a mess.
He's half rock star.
We need more rock star.
Half rock star, half corpse.
Corpse.
Oh my goodness. Hello and welcome to the Arte Fact Production Podcast, a weekly podcast chronicling the creation of The Crew, Arte Fact Production's first animated show about a group of unlikely heroes. My name's Joey,
I'm Catalina.
I'm Miles.
the half corpse, half rock star.
You're getting the corpse side right now.
He's the corpse. This is the corpse
It's like an A
side.
side and a B side.
What happened is we recorded a really awesome, 25-minute long podcast last night, and it was great. And then I went home and I got ready and I went out to be nighttime Miles and then
Date Miles,
and then on my way to my location, Catalina called me and said, "Hey, we got to re-record the podcast. I screwed up. My voice isn't loud enough.
I did not say I screwed up. I was like texting you, then I called and I was like, Miles, we gotta do. You're like, I was in the shower. I'm like, you don't shower.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was in the shower, bro. So if you're interested in our projects, about us, or anything else that we're doing, you can visit artefactproduction.com. That's ARTEFACT production.com. You can check us out on Twitter. That's at artifact_media. And on Instagram, SoundCloud, and YouTube, we are Artifact Production. And on YouTube, a quick note, if you're having trouble finding us, search us by ARTE space FACT space production.
And don't forget that we are now available on iTunes, so you can always download us there and listen to our podcast.
Subscribe.
I'm so messed up right now. I was about to correct him and say, "Hey, we got to do that again. It's FATC."
Was it?
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm kind of,
You need a refund on that rock star.
I'm kind of scrambled up there, upstairs today.
My brain's all scrambled. Miles, does it smell like a Lunchable meat in here?
Oh, man, it smells
That's
worse.
another bit from yesterday's podcast.
You missed.
So,
No, actually, that part's saved if you want me to enjoy. I can put it in right here.
yeah,
or I can
put it in right now.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'm not going to let Angie get away with telling me to smell the room.
Smell like
People need to
Lunchable
know.
meat.
People need to know.
Lunchable meat.
Then the first thing I do, I come up here like, "Oh yeah, this is the construction. Go ahead and smell in that closet because it smells like Lunchable turkey and ham."
You said there was a membrane.
There is a membrane on those Lunchable meats. That's why I never mess with those.
I'm not well unless if you buy it from Sack and Save like I did that one time. It was definitely turned.
Did that do something to you?
Yeah, did you ever get one that was bad? That they're
It's
just
hard to
barely
tell when it's
Yeah,
good
I
and
know.
when it's
Well,
bad.
I've seen friends who have gotten ones that have like some green stuff on it and they throw it out. That's why I never. The
That's
pizza
good
ones.
for you, boy.
Yeah, it's good for you. It helped the immune system.
Okay.
There you go. So,
And you're welcome.
So that's what happened with the artifact.
And they were still on me this morning when I came upstairs to sniff that meat. And
There is no meat.
I know, that's why it's weird. I'm not going to just smell stuff indiscriminately.
You're already smelling it. It's just that you're all...
What does that even mean?
That's a great noise.
Yes. So I want to let everybody know that we will be moving the YouTube live stream concept art sessions to bi-weekly. We're keeping that same schedule, but it's going to move to Wednesdays. It'll still be at 7:30 Central Standard Time. It just worked out for us. A couple of things have moved around, but that will be our firm date. And again, it's going to remain every other week, and then podcast will, of course, be every Tuesday.
Yeah, we did it last Wednesday out of necessity because some things got shifted around and we realized it might have worked better than Thursdays, so we're just going to stick to Wednesdays now.
And if you show up a little bit early and you get to see our loading screen, we may have a little bit of a surprise.
A little surprise.
There definitely is. I know. I saw it yesterday,
We
so
may
there
have
is a surprise.
Little tss for you.
Let's-
Little surprise, yeah.
Precious or Disaster Dog is joining us here to lift our spirits since we're having to re-record this podcast. We thought we were done last
Trying to
night.
lift Miles' spirits.
Oh.
She's scamping around. She wants loves right now.
She's trying to revive the corpse.
Clear.
Watch this. Clear. So yeah, what we're trying to kind of regather our brains from what we talked about last night. What we wanted to touch on was we have like a lot of followers and a lot of people who watch our stuff and engage in our artwork and helping us write by virtue of drawing. So we were talking about how important it is to design these characters so that we may write them, because in all the concept art live stream sessions, we literally bring to you guys ideas that we have that we need fleshed out visually so that we know how to write them. Like, we ran up against the Dusty and Donnie part in the script, and we were like, we don't know what these characters are, what they look like. We need help designing them so that we know how to better write them. So we also realized that there's really not a lot of info out there about like what the story is or explicitly how the characters function and bounce off one another. So we wanted to kind of touch on that today, just to give, for casting and just for general, to give people a better sense of the universe and our main characters, as well as to touch on how deliberate the design choices are, and and then what you can expect from them based on their design choices.
That's true, and I was going to say that I think that when people join us on the live stream, they get a great sense of our humor and the thought that goes into all the work, the writing and the animation and the drawing,
the creative process. Exactly.
And for newcomers, they may not necessarily know that. So, Joey, can you talk a little bit about the crew, the 4 characters that you initially created and drew, and kind of the metamorphosis it's gone through? Because I was saying last night that out of all the characters, Maddie and Jack have stayed probably the closest to their original drawings.
Well, I'd say this. I did create the designs for 3 of them, and then y'all helped me with the design for Mo. Because while we did have an idea for him, it didn't really get fleshed out until y'all helped with it. So I wanted to put that out there first. But even from the early drawing sessions, if you go to artifactproduction.com and check out the blog, you can see the old drawing of the crew and how flat and like angular they were. And as we've continued to develop them, they kind of rounded out and became more fleshed out. They look more finished. And that's more a virtue of the fact, not just the art style, but actually knowing who the characters are and really having their personalities a little bit more defined. So if you look at Maddie's very placid, very straightforward, but she does have hints of something beneath the surface just by virtue of the fact of the colors that she wears. So all the character designs are meant to not just convey the surface level personality of the characters, but also the dichotomy of who they are underneath. And I know that doesn't make sense now, but whenever the crew's all finished, I'm sure you'll be able to look back on it and it'll make sense.
Yeah.
So if you look at Dane looks kind of like a chilled dude who like maybe likes being outside and being in nature. He wears a costume.
Well, what others would perceive to be a costume, but for him it is his superhero, like his hero. Exactly, it's his uniform. But
it's silliness. It's silliness versus how astutely he wears it is a pretty clear window into how earnestly committed he is to wanting to be a part of the team and to be a hero, though it's a makeshift armadillo costume.
Yeah, and I mean, that's perfect word choice, because other people would see it as a costume. Just a costume, but to him it is his, it's his outfit, it's his uniform, that's his hero persona.
Yeah, he takes pride in it.
Yeah, Dane the Dillo.
And armadillo. Just in case no one has figured that out yet.
Dillo is shorthand, but he's an armadillo.
Dane's a dillo. So he does what a dillo do.
Yeah.
So then there's Jack, who's kind of a amalgam of a bunch of different hero homages, but if you look at him, he's a small kid, and it's kind of like what kid is meant to lead a hero team like that? And it's the idea of what a superhero is supposed to look like just a giant mishmash. So Miles and I were talking about it, and whenever I was explaining my design to him, I was like, yeah, he's got Goku hair.
Robin domino mask, kind of a very similar bottom of the mask to Spider-Man. And
but it's a brick. It's a brick pattern.
That's why I said similar.
And it is more orange.
Yeah, it is more
that is true.
Scarlet rather than red. And then, speaking of Scarlet, he also has, this is the deepest cut of it, he has kind of the Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly blue kind of hoodie outerwear thing on his torso. if anyone followed Spider-Man comics in the 80s and 90s and had to suffer through the Clone Saga. So yeah, and that's the thing. It's the surface level of what a hero should be, but it's also a peek into the fact that anyone who's that abrasive or that loud or angry or obnoxious is usually compensating outwardly for some sort of inward sense of insecurity.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
Jack definitely is. And we can't tell you explicitly what that is or why that is, but that's hopefully something that our writing will convey, and that's something that
it will.
Come out. Yeah, it has to.
Yeah,
and it'll come out in the series. But yeah, it's definitely the slapdash, like clashing looks are very much a window into what he feels like inside.
And we use a word in the script that I think describes him very well, which is garish.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. He only cares about his perception and being outlandish in his surface level.
But it's like I've got this. Like I'm like the sweater and then the hair and the mask and then the like all of it. It's just it's all of the best I think that he once saw or was influenced by, and he's like, that's me.
But together it kind of looks like a nightmare.
Yeah.
It looks awful.
And I would also say that this is his second time being in a hero team. Yeah. So this is probably how he wants to lead it, or the kind of example he's trying to set. But it's all kind of it's all kind of I don't want to say misguided, but it's just doesn't land.
Yeah, it doesn't land.
Yeah.
And then going from shortest to tallest, we have Mo, who he has, out of everyone, I think the most anime design inspired, because characters who are drawn for like manga and anime, the characters with big eyebrows and huge hair like that and stuff, they are very like powerful personalities, very assertive, very strong-willed. And I would say that's what Mo is, but he's also wooden. So like he's also a giant wooden doll, and he's meant to. It's very interesting because I very much think that lots of people are going to like Mo.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're definitely going to like Mo, but I mean, if you really look at him, there's not a whole lot there to like.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We like Joey said, he was the last one that we had to finalize, and kind of back to what I was saying earlier about how integral the visual look is. We had already started writing the script. We were kind of having issues, and I guess we didn't realize in the conscious parts of our brain, but in the subconscious, that there was something still to go with Mo. And we added very specific aspects to his face and to his body, but overall, we ended up making him look more unpleasant. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of...
yes.
Yeah, just a weird, off-putting, kind of very specific, kind of scary, unapproachable look, but one that you want to keep looking at, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would also say whenever we were trying to figure out how his eyes move, because if he's wooden and looks like a marionette, how does his mouth move? How do his eyebrows move? How do we convey emotion, especially whenever he's screaming and yelling and it's kind of explosive with him? How does that look? And I think because of his joints, the way that he is a wooden doll, it's also, I don't know what the word is, but it's just, whenever he moves through the scene, whenever I see him in my head kind of get in your face and he's kind of flailing his arms around, it's even more comedic to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it has a way of, I guess, potentially feeling threatening if he wants it to, kind of ominous. Mm-hmm. But that's not him. It's just, I think it lends itself to his personality beautifully.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Mm-hmm. And he's very purposefully the tallest one to Jack's shortest one. They're the ones that have the most animosity between them. Yeah. And the hair is very similar, but then you have a 4.5-foot character versus a near 6.5-foot character. And it's not just because Jack's the youngest, Mo's the oldest. It's very specifically because they have the highest amount of tension between the two. So you're going to want to put them at visually opposite ends of the spectrum. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Joey, can you talk a little bit about Cheers? Because we had already designed Mo and all that good stuff.
Okay, so about a month ago, Catalina started watching Cheers, and the day after she started watching it, she asked me to come downstairs and check something out. We've never watched Cheers. Miles, have you ever watched Cheers before we started showing it to you?
I watched one episode in a film class in like my sophomore year of college because we were studying sitcoms, but I don't remember anything.
So free of any influence of Cheers, we found out that Ted Danson very much reminds us of Mo. Personality, even like the huge hair and like eyebrows
Lanky
and like
body,
look.
like the way he moves and walks. And, it was very eerie when Catalina showed me. She didn't tell me what character he was in Avatar for. She just said, "Look at this and tell me what you see." And I was like, "Oh my, are you serious?"
Yeah, it looks like Mo.
Yeah, like if Mo were to be a real person.
Yeah. And the other person, at least in spirit, well, really, yeah, pretty much in spirit, would be Woody Harrelson from season 4 onward in Cheers.
Even kind of in appearance because of just that simple face and his sandy blonde hair.
Yeah.
And
right.
he is just Dane.
Just earnest, aloof.
Well,
it
is the spirit, because
the spirit
Dane's very much a Southern guy, but I mean he puts on that affectation kind of. But yeah, it's very interesting. It's like they came out of the ether, like.
And we had, we
finished.
Like we wrapped everything on our end. We had already recorded with Theo and everything. Before we saw,
isn't that crazy?
Cheers,
yeah.
And it's not even like we found those different characters in different shows. They were in the same show and they interact and stuff. It's like Mo and Dane. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the only reason we got Dane was because of an individual that we saw on a reality show. Well, that term I think loosely applies, reality show, whatever that means. Yeah.
Can we say the name?
No. But there was a character that had that name, and there was a line that he delivered, and I was like,
I forgot about that line.
And the night we heard that, I came upstairs and drew him. I think it was the same night, and Dane just came out immediately. I knew exactly what he was supposed to look like.
Drew and colored Dane in like one night after we came up with him and saw him on that show.
Yeah, and I think that's really a testament to how easy he was and how clearly we saw him, because while Jack and Maddie have remained the closest to what they initially looked like, Mo we saw was kind of, there were issues. There were small details because there's so little there. Every detail
matters.
That was the most frustrating thing, is that we knew we had the general look right, but we didn't know the little details that we needed to tweak.
But Dane was just so easy.
Dane was comically easy. Dane was frustratingly easy. Made me mad because, no character is less important than another one, but Dane arguably is less screen time than Jack or less dialogue than Mo, and he just materialized. It was crazy.
And that's if you want to see that kind of stuff happen, you should come to our live streams, because it does happen like that. Whenever someone comes up with a backstory or an idea for a character or a power, you can say, "Oh, I want this character to be able to fly," but if the character doesn't have a personality, it's very hard to figure out what they look like. So, backstory, personality, and what their function is builds the character.
Oh, and that's something else too, is this all kind of came about because one of our most recent supporters, Grant, visited our live stream, and apparently he's listened to our podcast and all that good stuff, and I think maybe previously watched some of our other live streams. But there was a point when he brought up Dane doing something on the top of the BFF, the cruise van, and Mo would avoid potholes, and immediately I thought, no, Mo wouldn't avoid them. He would target them to try and harass Dane. But those are things that we know about the characters, and so it was important to me for us to kind of talk about that too.
We wanted to make a very clear delineation in this week's podcast between going over tips for casting about the characters and more talking about the characters, because that was a great example about people wanting to help out on live streams and people giving us advice, but it's like, if they're not informed enough about the characters, they would make a suggestion that maybe wouldn't be fully congruent. And Catalina and I are at the point of writing to where we're not overwhelmed by options. It's kind of more like math, to where we're like, oh no, this character wouldn't do that. He would do this. This character, there's logic to it now, internal logic that we have to follow. Yeah,
and I think it kind of progressed in a way of saying like, no, they wouldn't do that. What is it? What would they do? And now it's turning into they would do this.
Yeah, it's like knowing a friend, knowing what a friend would do in a situation.
Whenever we first started creating the crew and we were writing the first 15 minutes, I wanted to... a point I always made, and I remembered this from whenever I lived with my old roommate, was like, if you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, if you watch enough seasons of it, you'll know how those characters should react in a situation. So that is the beauty of writing in this way, which I don't even know what type of writing this is, but being able to know the characters so well that instantly you know how they would react or what they would do in a situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see this setup, you're like, oh, I know where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
I know what this is going to happen. You know, it's just great. And I would also say too that you aren't going to see people with powers. I think to me that's kind of like almost like a shortcut. For example, Mr. CRISPR. Mr. CRISPR is a result of maybe like a mutation or, you know, like an accident or something like that. But he worked around refrigerators. He's a refrigerator repairman. And after being around coolants and things like that for so long, at a certain point, he now perspires.
Yeah.
This
His body temperature can't regulate itself at normal temperatures. It needs it needs medium cold to be comfortable.
Yeah, medium. I like
So,
how you put it, like a nice chill 45, but not freezing.
And a nice crisp 50.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, let me ask you real quick. What about Cosmic Eel?
What about Cosmic Eel?
Well, Cosmic Eel isn't necessarily like. Is it his suit that makes the noise?
Oh yeah, I
and
guess
lets
you're right.
him
It's
fly?
Yeah.
yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah.
One of our fans, Cosmic Eel, who's been really active in our live streams.
Hey, Cosmic Eel.
Oh,
Hey,
wait, ready?
Cosmic
Eel. Cosmic Eel.
Yeah, he became a hero in our universe just because of his audition, which is why everyone should audition. And and his like suit emits a certain frequency, a certain sound, kind of like Banshee from X-Men. So, well, Banshee actually has a mutation, has a power, but Cosmic Eels would be more, emitting a sound, emitting a frequency when he's walking around or when he's approaching, so you know that he's
That's
coming.
pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Even when he's walking, that'd
Yeah.
be pretty funny.
But
you hear him coming.
yeah, you hear it. Yeah, that galactic fish.
Galactic Fish Kid.
But the point about Mr. CRISPR is that he doesn't have a power like
Yeah.
that happened to him, and he tries to harness it to be able to fly.
Right.
Like, and his sweat-powered jetpack.
Yes, exactly. And he has to get rid of all that liquid that he's submerged in. Otherwise, he's gonna fly. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's a benefit. Sometimes that's a hazard. Yeah, his power is still something we're kind of tweaking and making sure we have a handle on because it's very specific and weird. But yeah, I mean, all heroes have a kind of a cold-themed villain like Mr. Freeze or Captain Cold. This is kind of the cruise version, someone who doesn't need
Mr.
sub-zero
Crisper.
temperatures, but just kind of crispy ones. That being said,
Yeah.
we cast Theo after a shot in the dark, shooting him a tweet, and immediately, if you followed the podcast, you will know that in every single episode we've made a reference to Tim Allen. That just happened.
We didn't on. No, wait, we did
Yeah,
on the movie
every
one, didn't
single
we?
Yeah.
one.
We.
You get mad at me because sometimes I said Tim Allen just to make sure I get it
Yeah,
in there.
get it in.
And so we were thinking of I don't know, we never really think of the voices during the live stream. We just focus on the artwork, but for some reason we were trying to think of the voice that this guy would have. We're like, well, duh, Tim Allen. And so
Yes.
instantaneously, everyone that was tuning in, we didn't even tell them, they hashtag Tim for CRISPR, hashtag Tim for CRISPR, and they actually started tweeting him and stuff. So we will clarify, it's Tim, the digit 4, CRISPR. Tweet at Tim Allen.
Yeah.
I'm sure Tim Allen gets a lot of fan tweets, but I doubt he gets uniform tweets like this.
And we're going to post that image that we have of Mr.
Of Mr. CRISPR, yeah, the fan.
both flying in action, so you get to see how small he is and how he's being propelled. The beautiful work that Joey did. Thank you very much,
No
Joey.
problem.
And you get to see his name on the front, Mr. CRISPR, just in his regular
Little
standing
refrigerator magnets.
Yeah, his little standing pose, and he has drawers too, like a CRISPR.
Yeah, he has a little CRISPR drawer in
Yeah.
there, but he doesn't really account for that when he's flying. It kind of slides out
Yeah,
sometimes.
it slides out, things fall out. I'd like to see it shoot out once and fall on the
Yeah, we'll say,
crowd.
hey, Tim Allen, your most famous flying character, Buzz Lightyear, forget
Forget
about
it.
all right? I want to introduce you to Mr. CRISPR.
He doesn't fly.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He just falls with style. Yeah.
That's right.
That's what Woody says.
I know it's what Woody says, but I don't know that he's going to be any more intrigued by a
Right.
guy that's.
Tim, we considered a lot of actors for this role, and you were the last man standing.
Oh,
Come on.
Sandbagged.
Yeah.
sandbagged. But yeah, please use the
Grant
hashtag Tim.
Grant bag.
Grant bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hashtag Tim for
Tim
CRISPR.
TIM for CRISPER, and we will tweet out the image on our artifact page, and so you can be able to take it and connect it to your tweets if you
Yeah,
want to.
plaster it
Save it.
everywhere, like that Obey artwork and stuff like
Yes.
that. Just put it on street signs.
Like Tony.
Subway stations,
Tim
Coney
for
2012,
CRISPR.
Tim for CRISPR.
No one. I
2017.
didn't get any laughs for that. Tony.
Coney 2012?
Yes.
That's it. Okay. I get in trouble for some of the stuff I say on the podcast. He says Coney 2012, and we're going to...
You got to plaster it. It's
Yeah.
Coney.
That's all everyone was talking about for like 2 months, and then they forgot.
Wasn't Coney a dictator or something?
Yeah, he's like an African warlord. Okay, we're not gonna do this.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying, like, people post stuff everywhere, and I remember that campaign. I was like, oh, okay.
This will come in handy when we do an animated show to make people laugh.
Shut up. But yeah, be sure to use the hashtag Tim for CRISPR and tag us on Instagram or on YouTube.
One more small note. We are putting up a general audition page this week for people who... Okay, so lots of people wanted to audition for Maddie, and Maddie is already cast. So
And she's the only female principal character, and so that's put a lot of people in a corner. They're like, I really want to be a part of the show, but I don't know how to audition because Maddie's taken.
Right. So we're just going to be putting up a general audition page. Are we providing sides?
No, it's just going to be a general audition page, so you'll be able to submit any sort of monologue that you want. What we want to hear are the voices that you kind of play around with naturally that may not be one of the 4 principal characters, and we want to give people an opportunity to just kind of let us hear that. And not just that, but even if your voice is just your regular speaking voice, we're going to need different voices for the show.
Unique voices are always awesome, but we are about to come up on the very practical reality of, this room, this set needs 26, 30 voices in the background to make it sound populated and full.
Yeah.
So don't think that you have to have some kind of wacky one of a kind voice to do this. Send us your normal voice. Do some kind of performance piece. We want you. We would so much rather include fans and viewers and people who have supported us from the start than stock sounds or compiling a bunch of different random voices. Like, we want you guys to be able to say that you have your voice in there. So, the general audition page was a great idea on Catalina's part, and it'll help for, even if you admit to yourself that maybe you're not right for any of the roles, you don't feel comfortable auditioning for any of the 4 principals, you're not limited to that anymore. You can submit whatever you want.
Yeah, that's what we really want to encourage, is just let us hear your voice. Just play around, have fun, let us hear it, because we could end up creating something out of it. A great example that you brought up was Cosmic Eel. He auditioned for an entirely different part, but we loved what he said at the very end because it was still in character. It was for Dane that he auditioned for. And we're like, who is this guy? This is amazing.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be a character in it.
Yeah, I drove through Starbucks yesterday, and I sent
You
Catalina,
told me this,
I sent her a picture. I wrote artefactproduction.com on a napkin because the lady at the drive-thru window who gave me my my drink, I heard her voice, and I was like, all right, I'm going to write something down on a napkin, and I'm just going to need you to visit this website and send in an audition, okay? We're doing it. That's the point we're at, and that's how wide we're casting our net, is like any unique voice we just want. Any voice we want.
Yeah, any voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you also told me, I need a business card.
I said, we need business cards.
You
I don't
said,
wanna write
I need a business card. I've spent a year on this. Your business card? Trash. Have you seen this one?
I don't want to pull out my phone and read the text. That's not what I said. I just said I don't want to have to write this on napkins anymore. We need business cards. LOL.
But you've always told me you want to make a business deal on a napkin.
Did I ever? Have I ever said that?
No, you haven't.
Okay.
I want to make a business deal on a napkin. Brown or white?
Brown.
Nice.
Yeah. Your writing was really great, too.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that's it. Be sure we'll have that page up by Thursday or Friday, and be sure to again tweet Tim for CRISPR.
Hashtag Tim for CRISPR at Tim Allen. He does have a Twitter page.
Yeah, we checked.
We checked for sure. We did.
It's him on fire or something like that.
Last man standing.
Was that it?
Yeah, it's not him on fire.
Man on fire.
Tim on fire.
Man down.
Man down. Last man down. First man down.
That's horrible. So yeah, be sure to follow us on Twitter at artifact_media. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and our SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Artifact Production.
And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes. And hey, subscribe on YouTube, dude.
Yes.
Subscribe.
Come check out those
Don't
live
lurk.
streams.
I don't want to date this podcast. We're at 70-something on YouTube subscriber-wise. I would love to hit 100 would be a cool benchmark to hit, and I think that our audience is growing enough to where I feel like people watch us who just haven't hit that little red button yet.
Yeah.
And I think that
Or
would
they
really,
haven't created an account or logged in or
absolutely.
whatever.
And it would really help. We would love, and it helps you guys to have a more organized catalog of our content too. So subscribe on YouTube, and you'll get notifications of when we do stuff. And then iTunes too was going to help SoundCloud still.
Can I get 500 likes for this video?
I want you
Goal.
to smash that like button, like and subscribe, comment,
Share it, tweet it, post it.
At 25,000, we're doing another giveaway.
At 25.
Yeah.
Hey, we're at 24,000 views for our not 24,000. Whoa. No, I'm sorry. Guys, it is early. You don't understand.
We're at 24 hundo.
24. Yeah, 24 plus a little bit. And do you remember whenever I was texting, I was like, we're at 400 and something.
Yeah.
We're at 700 and something.
Dude,
and then it was
like
a
79. I'm like, we're almost at 100.
I know.
That's
And whenever we
awesome.
first hit 1,000, it has been so wonderful. Thank you to everyone that has supported us. We greatly appreciate it.
Grant, Cosmic Eel, Tala,
Nova, Sarah, Alex too,
Oh, yeah, Alex, too.
Did we say Grant?
Little Husker,
Yeah.
Grant. Yeah, I think we
was
said
first,
Grant.
Bro.
Sorry, I got Grant bagged. Oh, can I say one thing? Once
Yeah.
we're going to wrap
Well,
up.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
for it.
It's about Tim Allen. It's in case he's listening. So,
Miles just fixed his shirt a little bit like Tim
Yeah.
was going to see him.
Yeah, he
so
stood
I
up
know
straight.
that, Tim, if you're listening, I know that your most praised films include the Toy Story films,
Took his hat off.
the first Santa Claus. I love the second one personally. Christmas with the Cranks is a film that I don't feel gets enough love. And there is a joke in there that I'm not sure if you ad-libbed or not, but you're going down an escalator in a mall with Jamie Lee Curtis, and you're about to walk into a travel agency or a clothing store or something, and you say, why does the Irish pub serve fish tacos? I don't like that, and I'm not feeling too good, and I don't think I'm going to do that again. And I laughed so hard. I laughed so hard, Tim, that... I mean, I don't know if that was an improv or it sounded like it was. Just bravo on that delivery.
I don't like
He was like, I don't like that, and I don't think I'm going to do that again. And I was just like, Tim, that's pure Allen. So we really want Tim for CRISPR, and we would love to have you.
A love letter to Tim. Signed sincerely,
AMG.
AMG.
Miles.
Well, that's it for this week. We'll see you next time.
That was my sonnet for Tim.
Yeah, that was.
All
I
right.
got a couplet for you written here. All right, bye guys.
Bye.